Hi everyone and welcome back to Crochet Rocks. My name's Tracy and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make my circle in the sand granny square. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. There's a little button here somewhere and just hit on that button and the notification bell and you'll be informed when there are new videos. So find the end and pull out some yarn. Now this one is made with a circle in the centre, not the magic ring, which you can use if you want to, but because we've got the granny square kind of holes, I figured it would look nice with a little ring in the centre. And for this one, I've done a chain of 6. If you found that was too loose, you can always do a chain of 4 in your centre, but you just need to make a slip knot however you normally would. And I'm chaining 6, so that's yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, so that's 3. I just need 3 more to make my 6, and I'm going to make a ring by doing a slip stitch into the very first chain. Now this one here is the knot, that doesn't count obviously, so we just insert our hook, yarn over and pull through both the loops on our hook, and we've made this little ring. So I'm going to do a total of 12 UK treble crochets into this ring, and in the US that's a double crochet. So don't forget, if I say a treble crochet, for you guys in the US it's a double. So I'm going to chain 2, which will get me to the correct height. I always do 2, some will tell you to do 3, but I find 2 is sufficient. So then I'm going to yarn over, go into the centre of that ring, yarn over and pull up a loop, so I have 3 on my hook. I'll zoom in a little bit and it might be easier for you to see. So I've got 3 on my hook, I yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. I'll show you once more slowly. Yarn over into the centre of the ring, yarn over and pull up a loop, so we have 3 on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So now with our 2 chain that's 3, and I need a total of 12. So I'm going to just carry on making my UK treble crochets into this ring, and I'm going to pause the video while I complete those, and I will pick up again with you once I've done my 11th stitch. So remember, with my 2 chain that will be 12, and then I will pick up with you again and show you what to do next. Okay, so I've done all of my stitches. Now these are our first 2 chain that we did to get up to the height. So there's the first one and there is the second. So all I'm going to do now to complete my ring is slip stitch into that chain, and there we are, we have the ring. And I'm going to snip off, because I've worked over my tail as I was going. I'm going to snip off that so it's not confusing. There we are, we've got the ring. Now in our next round we're creating these spaces. You see there? Put my hand behind it. We're creating these spaces, which makes it look like a wheel. So whereas we would chain 2 to get up to the correct height, that's fine. I also want a space, so I'm going to chain another 1. And in the next stitch, I'm going to do my UK treble crochet, which obviously, remember, is a double in the US, and 1 chain. And I'm going to do that in every stitch all the way around. And that will give me my gaps and also an increase into this. We will double our amount of actual stitches, although some of them will be chains. So I'm going to do that in every stitch, finishing with a chain, and I will pause the video now and catch up again with you when we get back to the start. Okay, so I've made it all the way around, and if at this point, when you get back to the start, you're a bit confused as to whether you need to go into there, just count them and you should have 12 stitches still and 12 gaps. So counting this as the first one, just count them. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you know that you're completed your ring. So now I'm just going to slip stitch into the second chain of our first 3. So that's 1, 2, there's the third, the gap. So I'm going to slip stitch into there, that second one, and then we've completed the ring and we've got a gap in between each of our stitches. So now we're on to this round where we get our granny clusters. So to do that, we need to be in one of our gaps. So I'm now going to slip stitch into this gap. So I'm just going to insert my hook, pull up my loop and pull it through. So now I am in this gap, and I'm going to chain 2 to get up to the correct height, and I'm going to do 2 more treble crochet into that gap. So that will give me a cluster of 3, and I'm going to do 3 treble crochet in the UK trebles, so that's US doubles, in every single one of these gaps, just going into the gap and complete 3, just like that. So we're doing our granny clusters, and that's also giving us one more increase in each of our, so if you think about it, we had 12 stitches, and here we've got 24 because we've got a stitch and a gap, and now we're increasing again. Just pull out some yarn by doing 3 stitches in each gap. That should be enough. So I'm just going to keep going round until I get back again to the start, and just keep doing those 3, a cluster of 3 in each gap until we get back to the start. And that's what it should be looking like. Okay, so I'm going to do this one last one, pause the video, and then I will catch up with you when I've gone all the way around and I'm back at the start again. So I've made it all the way round. I've done my last 3 in there, and I'm going to slip stitch into my second of my starting chains to complete that ring. And this time I'm going to end off. I'm going to leave a nice long tail, and I end off by doing 1 chain, pulling it right down, and then pulling my yarn through to cinch it down. And so that's the round part of the circle in the sand. Now I'm going to show you, just going to zoom back out again, just going to show you now how we turn that into a square. Now you may remember, some of you that have been with me for a while, or if you've seen it, I did a willow square blanket, and I adapted the willow square to be different so that it wasn't as holey. Now this would actually go really nicely with those willow squares if you wanted to break it up so that you would have some of the willow squares and then these ones which are a bit more solid. It would actually complement it quite nicely. So I'm going to put a link now, a little card that will link to that part 1 of the willow square, because it was a little bit more technical. I did the circle part first and then I did the rest in a separate video, so it was in 2 parts, that willow square. Then I did a cowl, crochet along, so it was in several parts, but the actual square itself was in 2 parts, so that if you wanted to just refresh about this part of the willow square, not this one obviously, then you could. So I'm going to link that, so if you wanted to have a look at that and perhaps do that one as well, that's fine. But I'm now going to show you how we go and make this into our square. So get my hook, and I used this yarn, which is the same as this one. It's the one I did my project recently. I made a baby blanket with pastels, and so I think I should have enough of this little offcut. If not, I've got another ball there, so, but it helps use the scrap up. So I'm going to pull out some yarn, and I'm going to attach my yarn into in between one of my clusters. Now I'm not going to do it here because I don't like having too many tails to work over in one spot, so I'm just going to choose one. And how I'm attaching my yarn is I will leave a nice long tail, and I will just make a loop with it and pull it through, and using both my working yarn and my tail, I'm just going to do a very small chain, and then I'm going to drop that tail and work over it. So what we're doing now is we're going to make a corner, and that is chain 2. Now making sure I'm right over the corner of this, in between this cluster, I'm going to chain 4. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to skip to the next cluster. So there's my cluster, my 3, and I'm going to do a UK double crochet, which is just to insert and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through. So in the US, that is a single crochet. So I've got 4 chain in between. Now in the next 2, I'm going to do 3 chain. And then in between my cluster, I'm going to do my UK double crochet. So that's 3 chain, skip to the next cluster and do my UK double crochet. Remember, that's a single for US. So there's 4, 3, 3. We're going to repeat that. 4, in between the cluster, 1, 2, 3, and in between the cluster, 1, 2, 3, and in between the cluster, 4, oops, fell out, move that round the back, and then it's 2 lots of 3. It'll become obvious in a moment as to why one is slightly bigger. My last 4, and now my 2 3s. Now what I'm going to do, because I didn't do a double crochet in here, but because I had 3 loops on my hook, it was as big as, so I'm just going to slip stitch into that first chain, and it looks identical to the others. So that is how we've made our foundation to do the square round. So now this is our 4 chain, and I'm going to slip stitch straight into the gap. So we're now in that 4, and I'm going to chain up 2 to get me to the correct height, and now I'm going to do 4 more treble crochets. Just check, yep, that's right. I wrote it down. This is how I write down a pattern, guys. It doesn't look normal, does it? It doesn't look like anybody else's pattern. It's just to refresh my memories. So I'm just going to do 4 treble crochet, UK treble, which is US double, remember. So we want 5 with our 2 chain. And I'm going to chain 1, whoops, chain 1, pull it over slightly so it's in the middle, and do another 5 trebles, UK treble. I think that was 4, yep, 1 more. So it does look quite busy in that corner. And then in our next, we're here. So we've just made this corner, and these are now going to become our sides where we've got our 3s, where I've got our 3 chains. So we're going to do 3 treble crochets in each of those 2 where we have the 3 chain. So it's just in those 2, we're doing 3. And in the next one, we have 3. The next one is 4 chain again, so that's our corner. That's why I made 4, so it's slightly bigger, and therefore it will fit all of those treble crochets in. So we do 5. Oops. One chain. I'll pull out some more yarn. And then pull it over so it's in the middle, and we're going to do 5 more in that same space. If it bunches up, just pull it over a little. So now we've made 2 corners and 1 side. And in our next 2 spaces where we have our 3 chain, we're just going to do our 3 treble crochet sides. Just a normal granny cluster really. And I think, just bear with me a second, I need to wipe my crochet hook. It's got a little squeaky. Must have been warm. That's better. It slips again, nice and easy again now. So we're back at the corner, and again it's a 4. I'm going to work over this tail this time. So I'm going to do 5, 1 chain and 5. Oh, it falls out. It's so slippery now, it just falls out. And another 5 to complete our corner. If I go too fast for you, then by all means just pause the video and catch up. So then I could just cut that off. So now I'm on my side where I've got my 3 chain. I'm going to do my 3 in each of those, and then I've got one more corner where I've got the 4 chain, and then I should finish with 2 lots of 3. So I'm going to pause this video. If you get confused, just rewind a little bit, but basically in the corners where you have your 4 chain, you're doing 5 UK treble, 1 chain, 5 UK treble, and in the sides where you've got your 3 chain, you're just doing 3 UK trebles. Just remember that's a double for the US. So I'm going to pause the video now, and I will pick up with you when we get back to this point. Okay, so I've made it all the way around and I've done my last 3. So now I'm just going to slip stitch into the top of my first 2 chains. So there was one, there was the second one. Just going to insert and slip stitch, and now end off that colour. Leave a nice long tail always, because I do like to make sure they're all sewn in nicely or worked in. So I'm just going to get that colour so I don't tangle them. Not an awful lot left of that one now. And I'm going to move on to this very pale lemon, this one here. You can use whatever colours you want. I'm just, you know, using up scraps, so you don't even have to use these colours at all. Don't have to make it yellow. You can make it whatever you like. But it's given me an idea for a nice Easter project in any case. So I should be getting on with all the other whips that I've got, and then I'll start on that. Right, so now we are on this row, and this row is what really makes it a square, and we are going to attach it at any corner. So I'm just going to choose this one, and I'm going to attach it by pulling through a loop. You can tie it in, do whatever you want, however you normally start your colours, but I'm just going to do it that way. And I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to do 2 UK trebles in that corner. So that's a US double crochet, and so we've got 3 in our corner. And now I'm going to do 1 in every stitch along the edge. So I'm going to pull it aside, and I'm going to make sure that I go into this one, because sometimes that gets hidden by our chains, our corner. Get my words confused. So I'm just going to do 1 in each stitch. I've been very lucky with these yarns that they're all the same thickness. I've got another little project that I'm going to do a tutorial for, and the yarns I chose were all lovely colours, but it didn't really work out with one of them. I had to undo it because it just came up much thinner, even though they were all supposedly DK weight. Oh, it's gone in the same one. All supposedly DK, and you know, a 3 weight, but one was just way too thin. So yeah, just 1 in each one along. Don't try and sneak another one in like I did. Just 1 in each stitch. Do like to keep my bloopers in, gives everybody a bit of a giggle and shows that we're all human, we all do it. So I'm going to pull that a little bit just to go over that little bit more tail. Sometimes I leave a little bit and then I work it back through the other way, depending on my mood. Whoops. I'm just using these Susan Bates hooks because I'm going to review them, and I do find that sometimes they slip out a little bit for me, possibly because they're in line. So right, I'm back at the corner, so I'm going to do 3 in my corner. See what I mean? Slips out. It's only really, I think, because I'm holding it in this way because I've got the camera in between. So now again, I'm going to do 1 in each of these stitches along and taking care to go into every one when I get to my joins, and 3 in my corner, just like this. So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to continue all the way round doing 1 in every stitch along, 3 in my corners, and I'll catch up with you when I get back to this point. Okay, so I'm almost back. I've got 1 more to do and then I'm back at the start. So I'm going to go into the top of my 2 chain and just do my slip stitch, and I'm going to end off that colour just the same as before, pulling it down and pulling it through. So now we've got what looks like a nice square forming, which, I mean, some of you I know will like to block, others don't, but if you just sew these, they do become nice and square. So for my very last round, I did 1 row of UK double crochet, which obviously in the US is a single. So to do that, I just got a darker, more golden kind of coloured yellow, and you can end in whites. You can, if you're making a blanket, you can do all the outside colours the same or not, it just depends what you want to achieve. So need to find the centre of our 3 in our corner, so any corner we'll join it. Nice long tail, and pull that down so it doesn't bulk out too much, and I'm going to do 3 double crochets in this corner. So that's a UK double, so that's a single crochet in the US, so just 3 in there. I'm going to pull that one so it doesn't distort, and then I'm going to do 1 in each along our side. So it's a simple double crochet in the UK or a single crochet in the US. That split the yarn, so I'll come out and do that again. Let me do it again. And just do that all the way along our sides. I'm walking over the tail as I go. Can I zoom out? There we are. Just simple all the way around. I think these colours work really well together. Quite pleased with them. And so we're just completing the square. And when we get to our join, just take a bit of care to make sure that you go in each stitch of our, I think I might have made that one a little tight, so bear with me while I force it in. And into our next one. Going to drop that part now, just work over this lighter colour. So now I'm back at the corner. There's the first one, there's the second middle one, and there's our last. So I'm going to do 3 in this one, which is the middle. Bear with me a second. Don't really want to split that. 2, 3 and then 1 in each along our side, just as before. I'm just continuing to work over that tail because I've just picked up this lighter coloured one. Just keep going all the way around, and what we're doing is 1 in each of our sides, 3 in our corners, just like that. So I'm going to pause the video because that's all you have to do, and I will pick up with you again once we get back to the start. Okay, so I've made it all the way back, just have that one last one to do. I'm going to slip stitch into this one to finish off, and just leave a nice long tail for sewing in, and end off my colour, and that's it. So you just need to kind of tease it into the corners a little bit, but this one is quite a good shape, if you know what I mean. It's already a good shape, but there we are. So just need to either sew them together, make a blanket, or whatever you want to do. So watch out for my Easter project, what I'm going to do with these. But thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye for now, everyone. Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make my little lazy daisy square, which is great to make a blanket or any project that involves squares, whether that's a bag or anything really, a little top, or maybe 6 together to make a nice place setting on the table. It's quite a versatile little square. Now I use something very similar to this square when I first had my children, and each one of these green parts I'd used a different colour and made a kind of a rainbowy flower blanket. It was quite pretty, but this one I'm just going to carry on with the green. Now I've used a DK weight yarn for this project, but you can use any weight yarn that you want. Just make sure that you get the correct size crochet hook. So for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm using this King Cole Price Wise, which I got from my shop, hobbyrocks.co.uk. Now this one is the shade of buttermilk, and I guess this one's just called white. Yep. And I also have some green, which I think is called shamrock. So I'm just using the 3 colours this time. I'm using a 4.5mm crochet hook. You can use a 5 if you want to. It does actually come up quite, it's not tight, but it's quite close work. So 4.5 I prefer. Now these are Clover and Moors, and at the moment I'm trialling these with a view to doing a review on them. I can't believe I've got to this age and I've not actually used Clover and Moors before, but I'm going to give them a go and do a review on them. But all of the things you see here today I do sell in my shop, and there is a voucher code in the description box under the video, which is valid until the end of December. So as I say, I'm going to use these 3 colours. I'm going to clear these out of the way. You will also need a pair of scissors and a darning needle. I'm just going to clear all this out the way and get ready. So I'm going to pause it for a second and come back to you. Okay, so in this particular tutorial, we do want the little hole in the centre. So I'm going to start with a slip knot, which you can do in any way that you normally do. Just make a slip knot, and I'm going to chain 4, just 4 chain. And then I'm going to slip stitch into that very first one by inserting and doing a slip stitch. And now we've got a really tiny little ring. It will get a little bit bigger as we work into it, so don't worry, it might be difficult to see at the beginning, but just take extra care and you'll go into the center. So I'm going to chain 2, and that represents my first stitch, which is a UK treble or a US double, and in this ring I'm going to make 11. With these 2 chain, that will make 12. So I'm going to do that right into the center of the ring, and I'm going to make my 11 UK trebles or US double crochets. See, as you can see now, I've done about 3. You can see that ring has grown a bit. So I'm going to pause it now. I've done 3 with my chain. There is 4. So I'm going to carry on until I've got my 12. Okay, so just to make sure, I'm going to count them. Now you can count the V's, but it's easy to count the stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and my 2 chain makes 12. So now I'm going to slip stitch into the very top of my first 2 chain. So the top one is there. Just going to insert and do a slip stitch. I'm going to do 1 chain and cinch it right down, cut my yarn and pull it through. So I'm ending off. Now this particular one in the center, this is, if you wanted to, if you thought that was a little bit too big, you could pull it closed a little bit. But I'm just going to snip that off because there's too many ends, otherwise it'll get confusing. And that will just get lost in there because I worked over that tail. Okay, so now we're going to join our white yarn. Okay, so I'm going to join it at the opposite side because I don't like to work over 2 tails at the same time if I don't have to. So I'm just going to insert through the 2 loops, through the whole stitch, and bring in my new colour, which is the white for the petals of the daisy. And all I'm going to do is make a little knot to secure that on there, but you can join your yarn however you normally join. Okay, so now I'm going to insert and bring up a loop, and I'm going to chain 3, and we're going to double treble in the UK, which is a treble crochet in the US, and we're going to do yarn over twice, go into the same space, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, but we're going to stop there because we're going to do them together. So we're going to make another double treble or US treble in the same space, and we're going to pull through 2, pull through 2, and we've got 3 loops on our hook. We're going to pull through all 3 of those. And now we're going to chain 2. Now in the next space, we're going to treble crochet or double treble crochet 3 together. So it's double treble crochet 3 together in the UK, but in the US it's treble crochet 3 together. So we're going to start off. The only reason this one was different was because we had chain to start. But we are now going round our hook twice and into our stitch. I'm going to work over the tail. I'm going to pull up the loop. We're going to go through 2 and through 2, but we're going to stop there, and we're going to carry on and do another one, and we're going to pull through 2, pull through 2 and stop there. We're going to do another one, and now we've got 4 loops on our hook, and we're going to go through all 4 loops. So they look the same because this one had chains. Now we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do the same again in the next stitch. Yarn round twice, go into the stitch, pull up our loop, go through 2, but stop there. Do that again, and do that again. And then once we've got our 4 loops on our hook, we're going to go through all 4 loops and chain 2. So we're going to do that in every single stitch all the way around. And I'm going to work over this tail. Then when I get to there, I'm going to start working over that tail so I can do less sewing of ends, which I prefer. So I'm going to pause it now, and I'm going to do one of these double treble 3 together in the UK, or double or just treble 3 together in the US. They do get confusing when we call them different things. But for the UK, just remember it's a double treble 3 together, and in the US it's a treble 3 together. I'm going to pause it and I'll catch up with you when you get back to here again. Right, I've got all the way around and I've got one left to do. So you should be finished, or should I say you should be left at the end of this with 12 petals. And this one is my 12th, so I'm going to do that one with you. And I've worked over my tail, so there's less sewing in at the end to do. And this is the last one. I'm going to do my 2, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the top of this petal, do a chain, cinch it down, and end off the white. I'm going to pull that through. Now this is the only end that really you can't really work over. You're going to have to sew this one in. But as we've worked over the others, I've worked over that one sufficiently, I can cut that one off. And there we are. That's our little center. This is now this part. So now I'm going to show you how we turn that into a square. So I'm going to just clear the white yarn away and I'll come back to you once I've got my green. Okay, so this is what it's looking like, and we're going to join our green yarn on the opposite side. Although I'm not going to be working over this tail, I still always kind of do that. And I'm just going to join it in between one of the petals. So I'm going to join it the same way by making a little knot in it. Sometimes if I feel like it, I'll make a double. But now with this, I'm going to do half a corner at the beginning. So I'm going to pull through a loop and I'm going to chain 3. Okay, so now the next 2 stitches that I'm going to do are going to be double trebles, or in the US, treble crochets, but they're not together. They're just single ones. So we're yarning over twice. And then we're going through 2, through 2, and through 2. Okay, so in the next one, I'm going to do 3 UK trebles or US double crochets, just normal ones. You know, pull through 2, and you're done. I need to pull some yarn out. Actually, I don't. I'm just treading on it. And we're going to just do 3 in the next one. And in the next one, again, we're going to do 3. Just normal, kind of like as if this is a granny square now. Okay, so in the next one, we're going to do a full corner. So we're going to do UK double trebles or treble crochets in the US. And we're going to do 3. Remember, they're not together. They're just single ones. And a chain. And then 3 more in the same space. So we're doing 6 altogether, but separated by a single chain. If I go ahead of you, just pause it and catch up with me. So now we've made a corner. We've got what looks like, if it was a granny square, it would be made out of trebles, but we're actually wanting it to be quite tall so that we're making this into a nice square. In the next one, we're going to do 3 UK trebles or US double crochets. And in the next one, 3. And then we want to make another, oh, excuse me, I got cramp. Do apologise. We're going to make another corner. So what we're doing is we're going into a corner like this, and then we're doing 2 along the side, and then we're coming to another corner. I suppose we can work over this tail at this point, but it's kind of finishing at the end there rather than in the middle or something. So I'd rather sew that one in because I don't feel like it's in the right spot. So we're going to do the corner as normal. One chain in between. avoiding that tail getting caught in it. I'll hold on to it, I think. And if you have to, just push these over slightly to make a bit of space to get your last one in. Okay, so as you can see, this is a full side now. We've got a full corner, we've got our 2 at the side. Now what I want you to do is to carry on. So in the next 2 spaces, you will do kind of normal granny stitch, 3 UK trebles or 3 US doubles. And then in the next one, you'll do your corner. And then you'll do your 3 normal ones in this one, trebles or doubles, whatever you want, if you're whichever terminology you're using. And then we'll get back to this point. So I'm going to pause it and I will catch up with you when I get back to this half corner. Okay, so I've made it all the way back. So as I started off with half a corner, I'm now going to finish that corner by doing 3 more UK double trebles or US trebles in that space to make the other side of the corner. Okay, so now in the top chain, my 3rd one, I'm just going to make a UK double crochet, which is a single crochet in the US. And I'm going to do a chain, cinch it down, cut my yarn and pull it through. So now, if you wanted to, that could be the end of your square. I'm just going to clear away my green. But I decided to do a white border. But if you wanted to, you could make them finish on the green. So I'm going to add the white, and I chose to do half trebles around and make a couple of rows of just half treble crochets. You could do 1 row of UK trebles or US doubles. You could just do a couple of rows of UK doubles, which are single crochets in the US, but I chose to do some half trebles. I wanted it to have a smaller border, so I just chose to start in any corner. I won't choose this one because I will work over that tail. So I'm going to join the yarn as I have done on the other rounds and just make a little knot. Okay, so I want to make half a corner, and by doing that I'm just going to do 1 chain, and I'm going to do 2 half trebles, which are half doubles in the US. So you just yarn over and go in, get your 3 loops on the hook and pull through all 3. And I'm going to do 2 in that corner because when I come back, I'm going to put my last one in and finish off. Now I'm going to do 1 in every single stitch all the way around, not forgetting that first one. Sometimes it can be a little bit tucked out the way when you with your, you know, when you've done these corners, it can mask that one. That one was showing itself to me, but you might have to pull it aside to find it. But don't leave it out, otherwise your work tends to pucker if you've not got the right stitch count. You can block it or you can pull it out, but it can kind of pull itself otherwise. Now, the observant among you may see that I did actually work that tail in as I went. I have a way of working in my tails which could be confusing if I showed you. I did do a video once where I showed people, but when you're making a tutorial, you have to kind of weigh up whether that would confuse people. But I just work over my tail as I go. It's very much the same as sewing it in at the end. Okay, so now I'm at the corner. In between, this is the one where my join is, where I ended off. So just make sure you go into that between the 2 sets of 3, and you do 3 UK treble crochets, US, double trebles, or double trebles or half trebles or half doubles. Oh my goodness, it's getting really confusing. So again, you want to make sure you're going in that first one which could be hidden, and then 1 in every one along. It's making me tongue-tied, all these different names and trying to mention them both. It wouldn't be so bad if I were just using 1 stitch, but I think I've used just about every stitch there is in this tutorial. And so, and when you consider that some of the stitches have got different stitches have the same name as another stitch, it gets very confusing. But yeah, there we go. So that's all the way around. Now when we get to the corner, I'm working over this green tail as I go. I'm almost there. Okay, so there we are. We need to do 3 in that corner. And then we should have a complete side with corners to look at. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're doing 3 in our corners. We're doing 1 all the way along. So I'm going to pause it then, and I'm going to do 1 in each of these, 3 in this corner here between our sets of 3, and 1 all the way along. And then when I get back to this stitch here, I'll show you how to finish that corner. Okay, so I'm almost there. I've got 1 more to do in this last one, and then I'm back at the corner. So I did 2. I'm going to do my 3rd one, and then I'm going to slip stitch into my first real stitch, which will finish that corner off. Now you can stop there if you wish. I did 2 rows, so all I did was 1 chain and my 2 in the corner, go all the way around exactly the same, come back and finish that corner. So as you've already seen that row, I won't show you another row, but that's all I did. You can leave it at 1. It does look quite nice with 1. But that's my lazy daisy square. I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. And as I said, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now. Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. Tracy here, and to another year of granny squares. And I've been making this sun. With this particular yarn, I used a glitz. I don't know if you can see it actually. Might not be picking it up, but that white is a glitzy yarn. Can't really see it at all, but it's really sparkling away. However, I didn't really like using the white with it, so I think you can just about see it, can't you? Doesn't matter. I'm going to show you how to do this anyway. So for this particular tutorial, I've used a 3.5mm crochet hook, a darning needle, though I haven't sewn any of those ends in, but you will need one, and some scissors. So I'm going to start, this is DK weight yarn, and I'm going to start with the yellow, obviously, because sunshine is yellow. And I'm going to start with a magic loop. Now, the way I do my magic loops, very, very simple. Leave a nice long tail and just make a loop. Put in the hook, bring in the yarn through that loop and make 1 chain, and you've done it. So it's simple as that. And what I'm going to do now is a stacked double crochet, and I'm going to do that to the height of a UK treble, because this particular circle is going to be made up of UK treble crochets, which are double crochets in the US. So if you work in US terms, then if I say UK treble, then you'll know that I mean your double crochet. So the stack, then I'm going to go into the loop, working over the tail, and pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through both of those. And then in this vertical post on this side, I'm going to reinsert my hook and yarn over and pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through both of those. And that is going to get me up to the height of a UK treble. And the UK treble then is yarn over into that loop, pull up a loop, so you have 3, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So that now counts as my first 2 stitches, and I want a total of 12. So inside that magic loop, working over the tail, we're just going to make 12 stitches. Okay, so obviously I have 4. I'm going to pause the video and I will catch up with you once I have my full 12. Okay, so I'm just going to count them, make sure I've got 12. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's fine. So all I'm going to do now is going to pull this tight. Not so, doesn't really matter if it's not completely tight, because we'll secure that at the end. Now the beauty of doing the stack is you get these 2 loops at the top, just like you would if you had a normal stitch. So I'm going to join with a slip stitch into my first stitch there. Okay, so again I'm going to do another stack in there, exactly the same as before, and in the same space, so that's the same stitch that I slip stitched into, I'm going to do a UK treble crochet. So that's 2 in that one stitch, and I'm going to do 2 in the next one. And 2 in each one all the way around. So we started off with 12, and at the end of this round we will have 24. So I'm going to pause the video again because it'd be a little boring watching me go around and put 2 in each one. So I'll catch up with you once again when I get to the end of this round. Okay, I've made it all the way around, and again I'm going to slip stitch into the top of my stack stitch, and we should have 24 stitches. Okay, so my very first stitch is going to be different to all the others. I'm going to chain 2. I'm only chaining 2 because the stack is slightly wider than the chain stitch, and I'm going to treble 2 together now. Excuse me a second, I've got to... Sorry about that. Hopefully that's the last one. So in the same space, I'm going to yarn over, go into that stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, but stop there, yarn over again, go back in, yarn over and pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through 2, and we've got 3 on our hook, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 3. And now I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to skip 1 and go in the next one and treble 3 together. So the reason we only did 2 in that one was because we had our chains, so they're going to look the same. Okay, so I'm going to do that again, yarn over, pull through 2, go back in, pull through 2, yarning it for the, and go back in and pull through 2. So this time we've got 4 on our hook. Yarn over and pull through all of those, chain 2. So if you look, they look the same because we had our 2 chain. And I'm going to do that in all the way around. So I'm going to skip 1 and go in the next, skip 1 and go in the next. So I'll do one more with you. So it's yarn over, go into the stitch and pull up a loop, go through 2, yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop and go through 2, yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop and go through 2, 4 on the hook, go through all 4 and chain 2, skip 1 and do 1 in the next one. So we're going to do that all the way around. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video again because it'll be a little tedious watching me do that all the way around, and I'll catch up with you once I get back to the start. Okay, so I've made it all the way around. We're just going to slip stitch into the top of our first one. So we now have 12 of these kind of partial suns. So I'm going to do my stack, and I'm going to start it in the yellow, and I'm going to finish it by bringing in my new colour. Okay, now I'm going to work over my yarn, I'm going to work over my tail, and I'm going to go into this space, the chain space, and I'm going to make 1, 2 UK trebles. And I'm going to start a third I'm going to finish it in the yellow. So I'm going to drop that. There's that tail getting in the way there. Drop that yarn, I'm going to work over it. I'm going to finish it in this one. And in the top of my treble 3 together, I'm going to make my next UK treble in yellow, but I'm going to only half do it. And again, I'm going to bring in this colour and finish that stitch in in the blue turquoise. I'm going to do 3, but on the third one again, I'm going to leave it. So we've only got half of it done. And then I'm going to bring this colour back in, work over the blue and finish that in this colour. And again, in the top, hard to get into this one, in the top I'm going to start my treble in that colour. I'm going to drop that colour and finish it in the blue. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. So it's 1 and 2. On my third, I'm going to leave it half done, drop that one and finish it in yellow. And again, I'm going to half do 1 in yellow in the top. I'm going to finish it there. I'm going to try not to get these tangled. It's easier said than done. Easier with a genie, I will say, though. I'm using 2 wool genies and it's much simpler with genies because you just got them there. Try not to get that too loose because I think that's what happened with this one. It got a little loose, so it doesn't look completely as it should. Okay, don't let that get loose, as I said. So now we're going to work over the tail and the working yarn again, and we're going to put 2 in there, and then we're going to half do 1, but stop there. Bring the yellow back, don't let this get baggy, and do the same. And I'm going to do that all the way around, working exactly the same all the way around. So if it cups like this one is, don't worry about that. Putting the 3 in between pushes that out so it becomes nice and flat. So I want you to do the same thing all the way around. I'll catch up with you once I get back to the start again. Okay, so I've made it all the way around, and this time I need to completely, oops-a-daisy, work over that and finish my last stitch in the blue and slip stitch into the top of my first stitch, which got a little bit tight. Never mind, there we go, it's in. Okay, so now I'm just going to cut this, leave a nice long tail so that I can work that in. And we're finished with the yellow, and we're just going to concentrate on this this blue yarn. Okay, so how I'm going to start this is I'm going to start in a corner, and I'm going to make half a corner. So I'm going to go back into that stitch and pull up a loop and yarn over and pull through both of those. And then I'm going to go into this vertical bar and do the same again. And I'm going to go back in to this vertical bar and do the same again. So I have now got up to the height of a double treble, which in the US is a treble crochet. So that, if I say double treble, then you'll know I mean a US treble, if that's what if you work in US terms. I'm going to yarn over twice. I'm going to go back into that same stitch and complete a double treble. So that's yarn over and through 2, yarn over and through 2, yarn over and through 2. So that is half a corner. In the next stitch, I'm going to do another double treble. And I could have worked over that tail, but never mind. Sew it in. In the next 2 stitches, I'm going to place UK trebles. Oh, I've split my yarn there, didn't like that. 1, 2. In the next 2 stitches, half trebles. That's 1. And that's the same as a half double in the US. So that's 1, and that is 2. In the next stitch, we're going to place 1 UK double crochet, which is a single crochet in the US. Okay, so now we're going to mirror this and do 2 half treble crochets and 2 UK treble crochets. I'm going to do 1 single double treble. Now we're going to put a full corner in the next one. So that's 2 double trebles, one chain, and 2 more in the same space. Now we're going to work back the way we did at the beginning of this. That's our side. We've got a corner. We're now going to work along this side. So the first stitch is a single double treble on its own there. And then in the next 2 stitches, we have treble crochets. In the next 2 stitches, half trebles. 1, 2, and 1 UK double crochet, and then we're going to go back the other way, 2 half trebles. 1, 2, 2 treble crochets. 1, 2. In the next one, a single double treble. In the next, a full corner. So that is the 2 double trebles, 1 chain, and 2 double trebles. Okay, let's have a look and see how that looks. You see, if it did pucker, it's been pulled out nice and flat. Okay, so now we're going to work our way back along here. It's a tricky round, so I'm going to stick with you. And we're going to do a single double treble all on its own in the next stitch. And in the next 2, a treble crochet. In the next 2, half treble crochet. Oops. Go through both loops. In the next one, a double crochet, and then 2 half treble crochets. Two double crochets. A single double treble, a full corner in the next one. And then in the next one we do 1 on its own. And we start our sequence all over again. So when you look at it, you can see it's not quite, it's getting square, but it is still going down a little bit. The next round sorts that out, so it will be perfect. Okay, so I will pause it now then as I make my way along this last side, because I think you might now you'll know the sequence, and I'll catch up with you and show you how to finish off this corner. Okay, so I've done my single double treble all on its own. I'm going to finish off this corner by going in the same stitch as before with 2 double trebles, and in my top of my double treble I'm going to place a UK double crochet, which gives me the space between and the same amount of distance as a chain. Now I'm in the corner. I'm going to do my last round. Of course, you can do more rounds if you want, but I'm going to show you my last round, which is I'm going to go into here and make a stack the height of a treble crochet. So just stack 2 high. And then in the same space, I'm going to place a treble crochet, and then 1 in every single stitch all the way along the side, all the way to the next corner. And this round helps to even out those little bits of a dip that you could see in the different height of the stitches when we were going from a round to a square, and this should even that out nicely. So not going to pause it because it's just all the way to one side, so it shouldn't take too long to get there. See, it's getting nice and straight. Okay, so this is a full corner then, and in that space we're going to put 2 UK treble crochets, 1 chain, and another 2 in that same space. And that's our repeat. So we're going to put 1 in every stitch along this side, a full corner, 1 in every stitch along this side, another full corner, 1 in every stitch along the side, and I'm going to pause it then and catch up with you when I get back to the start. Okay, so I'm almost there, got 1 more to do along the side, and then I'm going to complete my corner by doing 2 in that space. Now this is my last round, so I'm going to chain 1 and slip stitch into the top of my stack. If I wanted to, maybe if I was making a few and I wanted to perhaps sew them together, then I might have carried on and done exactly the same as I did before by doing the UK double and then finishing in the dead centre. So nice long tail, and I could sew them in. Or if I wanted to, I could do that invisible join, but now I'm just going to sew my ends in. And the one that is most important is this one, because we need to keep this closed. And I'm going to thread all, this is the smaller needle, so it's not always easy to get it in. There is a bigger one, but I quite like the smaller one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, that is nice and tight, pulled nice and tight, and I'm going to, it's coming out of here, so I'm just going to go back through there, that last stitch, and then I'm going to put my needle through the loop and pull it nice and tight. So it's a little knot, and now I'm going to bury that into this first round because it's nice and tight, and it will be easy to bury. That's why I like this thinner needle for this, because it's sometimes very tight to get it in. Okay, so that should be enough. We can snip that one off. And then this one, I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to bury it in and out of these stitches. And my last one where I finished off, I'm just going to bring that through to the reverse side and hide that backwards and forwards in that corner where you've got this nice piece of kind of stitches that you can bury it in. Okay, so I'm not going to show you that. The first one was, it's just the same. So anyway, that's my square this time. Hope you like that, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye for now. Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. It's Tracy, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this square. Now this is one of my new squares that I've been working on. I've been working on a blanket which incorporates these alternate row squares with this flat one. Now it's curling up at the edges a little bit, but it would definitely flatten out once you sewed it all together. Now what I really like about these are the corners. They're different from all the other ones that I've ever made, and I will show you how to do both of these, but for this tutorial it will be this one. So I just want to point out that my gimbal broke this morning, and I'm using another one which I can't get to go down as far, so I'm going to try my best to get this tutorial done. Time will tell if it works out or not. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to make this one, as I said, and I'm using for it Poundland Knitting Essentials, just a cheap and cheerful yarn which works up really nicely, and it's in this pink colour. It's a DK weight, a 3-weight yarn. Of course you can substitute any yarn that you want to make this project. You can use a 4-weight if you want, etc., but you just need to go up the hook size accordingly. So I've found that this one is quite a good size DK weight, and I'm using a 4.5mm crochet hook. So let's get started. I'm just going to pause it and get all my bits and pieces out the way, and I'll be back with you. Okay, so if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll be informed when new videos pop up, and then you'll see when the solid one pops up, which I've affectionately titled my Marshmallow square, and this one I affectionately titled the Walnut square, but I'm going to come up with better names. But for now, we start by making a slip knot, and you can do that however you normally do. I usually do it that way. So I'm going to chain 4, simple, yarn over and pull through 4 times. It doesn't have to be baggy or tight, and now I'm going to make a ring by slip stitching into that very first stitch. So that's nice and easy, just yarn over and pull through both the loops. So we've got a little tiny hole here, and that's what we're going to work in. It does make it bigger as it goes along. So I'm going to chain 4 because that represents a stitch and a space. So 2 with a stitch and 2 for the space. Now I'm going to work over my tail, and I'm going to go into the center of this ring, and I'm going to do a treble crochet, which is a UK term. It's a double crochet in the US. So I'm going to yarn over, go in, yarn over and pull up the loop, 3 on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's my first stitch. I've made my first space. Now we're going to want 6 spaces. So I'm going to chain 2 and go into the same center of the ring and make another UK treble or US double. Now you can see my second space is created. Chain 2, and I'm going to go in the center of the ring again and repeat this all the way around until I've got 5 spaces, and I'll show you what we do at the end. So I'm just going to chain 2, back in that center. If I go ahead of you, just pause me and catch up. So I've got 4. This is my 5th space. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take that aside. We're going to chain 2 and we're going to slip stitch into our second chain that we started with. Remember we did with 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to just slip stitch into that second one. And we've made our ring and we've got 6 spaces. So I'm going to chain 2 and into every space I'm going to do 3 stitches. As you can see, this is the one we're working on now. This is the posts where our post is, and in between our posts we've got 3 in each space. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to do the same stitch, the treble crochet UK, double crochet in the US, and we're going to make 3 in every space. I think I need to pull some more yarn. No, it's fine. It's just not flowing. Let's move it along. That's it. I've got 2. This is my 3rd one. So where you have a post, we're going to go into the post and do 1 there as well. And 3 into the space. And we're going to carry on and do that all the way around. I'm sorry, I'm going to have a tendency to pull it closer because I'm having to stretch my arms quite out with this particular gimbal, but my other one decided not to work. So it's a good job that I did buy this second one. Although this was really for going out and about. So I'm doing 3 in each space and 1 in each post. So I'm going to pause it after I've done this one in the post. And we'll look at it because I'm halfway round, more or less. I am, exactly. So I'm going to pause it. This is exactly what we're doing. 1 in the posts, 3 in the holes. 1 in the post, 3 in the hole, 1 in post, 3 in the hole. Carry on all the way around and I'll catch up with you on this last 3. Okay, so I made it all the way around and I've just done my 3rd one. So I'm going to slip stitch into that second chain. There's the first one. There's the second one. That was our beginning of the round. Slip stitch into there and we're back at the end of our ring. So we're now on this round. What we're going to do now is we're going to chain 4 again to make our stitch, our space. And we're going to skip 1, which is this one here, because it always looks different. That one next to the stitch. We're going to go into the next one. And we're going to do a UK treble or US double. We're going to chain 2. We're going to skip 1 and go into the next one. It's a nice, easy repeat this round. 2 chain, skip 1 and go in the next one. Now it will kind of pull. It'll look like it's pulling up, like cupping slightly. But that's to be expected and it's fine. It will pull out on the next round. It just does tend to bunch a little bit. So we're skipping 1 into our next one. Okay, and 2 chain. Skip 1 into the next one. 2 chain. Skip 1 into the next one. 2 chain. So we're going to repeat that all the way around. So I'm going to pause it then and I'll catch up with you when we get back to this. We'll finish on our last 2 chain. Okay, so I've made it all the way around. I've done my 2 chain and here is my 4 chain that started, and I'm going to slip stitch into the second one just as we did before. Okay, so I'll pull my yarn out a minute and I'll show you what I mean. If you look at it, it does look like it's cupping. And that's no problem at all. We're going to even that out in this round. We don't want more chain. It would just become way too baggy. So we're going to chain 2, get us up to the right height. And in each space, just as we did on 2 rows before, we're going to do 3 stitches in our space. 3 UK trebles or US doubles. And exactly the same as before, when we have a post, we're going to do 1 stitch into the post and then 3 in the space. So we're just repeating for 2 rows exactly what we did before. One into the post. Okay, nice and simple. I'm going to do 3 in there, see what I mean? I'm moving down. One in the post. And then we'll have a little look. So that's what we're doing, repeating this row. And as you can see, it's pulling that out nicely where it was all puckered up and cupping like this. It is pulling it out, and that will happen once we get to the end. So I'm going to continue doing 3 in each space, 1 in the post, 3 in the space, 1 in the post, 3 in the space, 1 in the post. So I'm going to come all the way around, and I'll finish up here with my last 3, and not 1 in the post because we started with that. So I'll meet up with you again. I'm going to pause it, and I'll catch up when we get on this last 3 here. Okay, we've come to the end, and as you can see, it's nice and flat again, all pulled out. So we've now completed this round, and we're now on this one. So our next round is to repeat another round of the spaces. So that's when it all changes after that. So for this round, I'm going to again go into my second chain. There's the first, there's the second, and I'm going to slip stitch into there. I'm going to chain 4, and we're going to once again repeat this round, skip 1 and a stitch into the next one. So this one is our last repeat round, and we're going to skip 1 and go in the next one. 2 chain, skip 1 and into the next one. Okay, so it's simple as that. We've done this twice before. I'm going to pause the video, and I'll catch up with you when we get back here, and we'll finish on our 2 chain. Again, it might start cupping. Don't worry about that. It will even out. Okay, so I'm going to pause it. I'll catch up with you when we get back to the beginning again. Okay, so we're all the way round. We're going to, again, slip stitch into our second chain along, which is this one here, and that's it. I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to cinch it right down because I don't like it to get confused with a stitch. Now this is a very different round. We're still making this as our last increase, because although you haven't really seen them as increases, they've just been a pattern, we've been increasing it all the way to make the flat square. Sorry, circle. I won't edit that out. I never do. So this round, we're still going to increase, but not by as many. So we're going to go into the same stitch, and we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Whoops, if we're going to bring it with us, though. It's hard to do it, the camera in the middle. Okay, pull it up so it's a proper stitch, yarn over and pull through. So this is a UK double crochet, or a single in the US, and that's the stitch we're going to go all the way around with. But where we've been putting 3 in our spaces, we're now just going to put 2 in our space. There's 1, 2, and we're going to go into the post and make 1, and then into the next space with 2. Okay, that's what we're doing all the way along. So it's still an increase round, but not by as many. 1, 2, and that doesn't seem like an increase. That's it, all the way around, just like that. So you don't need to see that all the way. I will pause the video, and I'll catch up with you when we get back to the start again. Okay, so I'm all the way round. That is a total of 72 stitches, excuse me, and I'm going to slip stitch into my first stitch to go back into my ring. So now you can see it's all flattened out again. No puckering or cupping, and that's all as it should be. So this round is very different. We're now going to start making our square shape and getting these kind of attractive corners. I really like these corners. And to do that, we're going to chain 3. And we're going to do, in the UK, a double treble, which is a treble crochet in the US. So I'm going to round my hook twice, and I'm going to go into the same stitch that I have my chain, and I'm going to pull up my loop. So I have 4 on the hook. I'm going to pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That is a UK double treble, or a treble in the US. We'll do it again. We yarn over twice. We're going to go into the same stitch as before. Yarn over and pull up the loop. Yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to do one more in the same space. Now this is half a corner. I'm going to go back in. Yarn over and pull up. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. So we have 4 altogether. That's half of our corner, really. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to skip 2, and then we're going to start on our side. And we're going to make our side shaped. So we're going to skip 2. Okay, there's 1, 2. We're going in this stitch. We're going to yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. So we've got 3. And we're going to yarn over and pull through all of those. Now that is a UK half treble, which is half double in the US. We're going to do another one in the stitch next to it. So we're going to do 2. So 2 of those, we're going to do it will be a corner, a full corner. We're going to skip 2, do 2 half trebles or half doubles. And now we're going to do 9 UK doubles or single crochets in the US. So we're going to do 9. 1. I won't count out loud. Okay, so I've done 9. You see how it's squaring up? I'm going to do 2 half doubles, half trebles, like I did here. So half treble in the UK, half double in the US. Just as I did at that end, I'm going to do the same this end. So there's my first and my second. Now I'm going to skip 2, and in this third one, there's 1, 2. I'm into this one. I'm going to do 7 double trebles or US doubles. So where we had our 4, we're now putting 7. All in that same stitch. There's 4. And there's my 7th one. They get a bit tight in there in the end. So there we go, there's 7. Now we're turning the corner. So just as we did along this edge, we're going to skip 2. So there's our one we're in. There's 1, 2, we're going in this one. And we're going to do our half treble or half double, depending on which side of the pond you live. So we're going to do 2. Do 1 in that stitch, 1 in the next. And then we're back to our 9 UK double crochets or US singles. And then just as we started that, we're going to do our 2 half trebles or half doubles. 1, 2. And we're now back at the corner again. And as you can see, it's squaring up nicely. So we're going to skip 2 and we're going to do our 7 UK double trebles or US treble crochets in this one here. So I'm going to pause the video because you've seen this now, and if you forget, you can always go back and just refresh your memory. But we're going to do 7 there, we're going to skip 2, we're going to do 2 half trebles, half doubles, then we're going to do 9 UK doubles or US singles, back with 2 of the half treble, half doubles, repeat the corner. And we're going to do that all the way around. So I'm going to pause it and I will catch up with you when I get back here, and I'll show you how we finish up at the corner. Okay, so I put my glasses on top of my head. There we go, that's better. My mum used to do that all the time. So I'm all the way round. I've done my last side and I'm going to complete this corner. So I'm going to yarn over twice and go into that same stitch, and I'm going to do my last 3. Now it does look like it shouldn't work out and it will look weird, but it doesn't. It looks cool. Seriously, I'm just trying and do this with the camera in the way. It's not the easiest thing. So last one. And what I like about doing it this way is for that very last round, it puts me in the dead center. So I'll just pull that over slightly. Now this time I'm going to slip stitch into my 3rd stitch along. Now I don't mind if I go into the 2 loops or that one there. It doesn't matter to me, because now I'm going to do my very last row or round, and all it is 1 in each, just to cement that nice straight edge. But for the corners we're going to chain 2 and I'm going to do another 1 in that same space, because I'm going to finish it off when I get back. So the corners will have 3. Now if you wanted to, you could go through the back loops only and it would make a nice little ridge along here, but I just did it going in both loops like this. But if you wanted to make that little ridge, you could go through the back loop only. So I tried both. Anyway, we're going to do just 1 normal UK treble or US double crochet in every single stitch along. Need to pull out some yarn. Nice and simple. Now where you change, it obviously gets a little bit different to look at, but you're just going to go in every stitch regardless of how it looks, and do the same thing all the way along. Okay, so I'm going to pause it for a second, because watching me go in every single one of these is going to be a little boring. So I'm going to catch up with you when I get up to my corner. Okay, so I'm all the way along my side and I've gone in my 1st, 2nd and 3rd. So when I get to my 4th one, I'm just going to do 3 in that same stitch to turn the corner. And that will be how we're going to do the corners. So right, that's why we have 7, so we can have 3 on each side. So that's all we're going to do, is 1 in every single stitch and 3 in our corner stitch. And I'll just do a few more and then we'll have a little look at it. There we go. So that's what it'll look like. Just going all the way around. We're making this part now, and that's what it kind of will end up looking like. So I'm going to pause it again. I'm going to go all the way around. I'm going to do 3 in the 4th one along of each of my corners. And so we're going in the 1, 2, 3 in the 4th one. That will be the corner. So when I come all the way back, I'll finish up around here, catch up with you and show you how to do the last bit. Okay, so I'm almost finished. I'm just coming up the last 3. So I'm on the 2nd one. Now we're going to finish up, oh no, we've got one more. We're going to finish up our corner. by putting one more in that same space and then slip stitching into our top, and this time I will go into the 2 loops. You don't have to, but I think it, because it's finishing it off, it'll look nicer. Slip stitch into there, and I'm going to leave a very long tail, which I always do when I'm making squares that I'm going to sew up. I'm going to do 1 chain, cinch it right down and pull that through. And now I don't have to weave this end in and attach another one to sew it up. I've always got a nice long tail to do that. So I start off with a magic ring, which I do very easy. I just make a loop and I put my hook in, bring the yarn through that loop and make 1 chain, and I've done my magic ring. None of this winding your yarn around your hand, just simple and done. So in this ring I want a total of 10 UK trebles, which are 10 US double crochets. So if you hear me refer to a treble in this, it's going to be a UK treble, so a US double crochet. As we go on, we will be using other stitches, so it might get a tad confusing. So I will kind of mention them when we do them. So to start off, I don't use turning chain. I use the stack. So I'm just going to put my hook into the ring and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both of them. Okay, now we're concentrating on this 1 vertical loop there. I'm going to pop my hook back in and I'm going to yarn over and pull up my loop. So I've got 2 on my hook, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through both of those. And now I'm up to the height of a UK treble crochet or US double. So I'm going to do 9 in this ring, working over the tail as I go. Nice and simple. Just yarning over into the ring, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So nice and simple. So along with my beginning stack, that is 4. So I'm going to pause the video and I will come back to you when I have finished my 10th stitch. So this is my first, and so altogether I have 4 now. I'm just going to pause it then and come back to you when they're done. Okay, I have my 10 and I wanted to pause it because it gets a bit confusing if I count at the same time as you guys. So at the top of my stack, you'll see the 2 loops, like any other stitch, the 2 loops. So just pop your hook in and slip stitch to join. Now we have a little ring. Going to pull that tight. It may work its way loose again, but we'll secure that at the end. So we're done with this colour. I'm going to do a chain, pull it down and cut a nice tail, although I work over them, and pull that through. So I have my 10 stitches all nice and neat. I'm just going to switch to the red now. So I'm going to pause the video while I take my white away and get the red set up. Okay, so normally speaking, I don't join at the same space, but I'm going to on this occasion because as I work over this tail, it virtually goes around the whole thing in any case, so it makes no difference. So I'm just going to join it, and in each of these stitches around, I'm going to, and as I said, I'm going to work over my tails, not the center one though, because we have to secure that, the one for the center ring. We have to secure that and work it in at the end. So in each one, I'm going to do 2 UK half trebles. So they're half double crochets in the US. So once I've done my first one, I give this yarn a little tug and you can't see my join. So 1 and 2, and in the next stitch, it's nice and snug. I'm working over these tails. 1 and 2. And again in the next one. So I'm increasing in every single stitch. We're doing all the stitches in this particular flower. So I'm going to pause the video then, and I will catch up with you once I've got my 20, because I started off with 10. Just be careful when you get back here sometimes it will look like, hang on, I've got to pull that a little tighter. That didn't come through enough. It will look like you need another stitch in that join area. Sometimes if it's quite a distance, I'll put one in there and one in there. When I come back to the start, I'll see how it looks and I'll show you what I mean. But we need a 20 stitches, an increase in every one until we get back to the start. Okay, so I'm back at the start now, and as I've said, sometimes when you join, you get this little bit that looks as if it is a stitch. So if you put 2 in there and join, then quite often, ignore the tails, when you join it up, so let's just do a slip stitch to join. That doesn't look right, does it? So what I sometimes do is I do 1 in that one. You can't really see it as such when you've gone all the way around, and now I do my slip stitch to join. It looks a lot neater. It doesn't look brilliant, but it looks a lot neater. It's virtually the same. So now I'm going to slip stitch into my next stitch, and in this stitch I'm going to do firstly the stack to get me up to the height of a UK treble crochet. So that's the same as before. And in the same stitch, I'm going to make a UK treble, which we've just done. Okay. Now in the next stitch, bear with me a second. Sorry about that. I had the postman knock at the door. So in the next stitch, we're going to do 3 double trebles. So in the US, you call those treble crochets. So we yarn over twice, go into the stitch and pull up a loop. We have 4 on our hook. We yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. We're going to do that twice more in the same space. So we're just creating that lovely full petal. And in the next stitch, we're going to put 2 UK treble crochets. And in the next stitch, we're going to slip stitch, which does seem a little drastic, doesn't it? So now we've slip stitched into this stitch, but we're going to go into the next one and just pull up a loop. So we have 2 on our hook, yarn over, pull through both of them, and in this vertical hook loop there, we're going to go in, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 of them. So now we're in this stitch here, we're going to do a treble crochet, a UK treble. So that's like our 2 UK trebles there. Now we're going to do 3 UK double trebles. I know it's very confusing with the UK and the US terms. So if I just stick to the UK terms and let you know what they are, then it's not a mouthful each time. Okay, so we've done our 3 UK double trebles. Now we're going to do 2 treble crochets in the next stitch. UK treble crochets. In the next one, we're going to slip stitch. And then we're going to pop our hook again into the next and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both, go into this vertical loop here and complete our stack and do another UK treble in that same stitch that we have just worked in. Now we're going to do our 3 tool stitches. Let's just call them the tool stitches for now. And in the next stitch, our 2 UK treble crochets. That's our repeat. We're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, and using the next stitch, we're going to put our stack. So we've got 1 loop in the previous and 1 loop in the new stitch. And we're making our stack and our UK treble. Yarn round twice, and we're going to do 3 in there. And 2 of our UK trebles in the next one. That's quite, once you get a few of these done, you get the repeat quite easy. Okay, so now we're on our last petal. Okay, so we're going to do our stack using both those stitches and our UK treble, our 3 UK double trebles, the tall stitch, our 2 trebles in the next one, and then right at the bottom there we will slip stitch into that stitch. And okay, so now we're going to just do a chain, pull it low, cut the yarn and end off. So we have our cute little flower all in our nice Mary Quant colours. So if you've worked over tails, you can snip them off or you can sew them in. It's up to you, but I worked over those two. So at the end of this, the only tails I'll have are the centre one and the one that ends it off. Right, so now we need to bring our white back in. So I've got my white on my other ball. And now we're going to join it at the top of our petal. So what we want are our 3 stitches here. I'm going to go for the centre of those. And we're going to join it how you normally do. I just do a chain and pull it down. And now I'm going to do a UK double crochet, which is a single in the US. And then once I've done that, I'm just going to tug this and the join disappears. So this is now going to be a repeat again. And I'll stick with you because it's tricky at the beginning. So we've done our UK double. And in this one, we're going to do a half treble, which is obviously a half double crochet in the US. So we pull up our 3 loops and we're going to yarn over and pull through all of them. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do a UK treble crochet. And in the next stitch, another. And then we're going to yarn round twice. And we're going to go into this stitch here at the bottom. I'm working over my tail as I go, getting rid of that. And we're going to do our UK double treble. And then our next stitch is here. Not there, it's here. And we're going to do our treble crochets. We're now mirroring what we've just done. So we're going to do 1 and 2 UK trebles because we did 2 before. And now we're going to do a half treble. And now in that top stitch, we're going to do our UK double or US single. So that is now our repeat. And what we're doing, we're making a circle. So now we're kind of bringing this into a circle to then make it into a square. So it will kind of look more obvious on this round once we've finished. So now we're just going to mirror that again. So we've got, as you work back, we're going to work forwards. So we've done our double, which is a single. So we're going to do our half treble. Going to drop that tail now. And in the next stitch, I'm going to do a UK treble crochet. And in the next stitch, now this is a little bit trickier because it's our join, but we're still going to do our double treble and get it into there. Might be tighter. It's not too bad actually, but that's where we ended off. And in our next stitch, which is not this one here, this is the top of it, we're going to do a UK treble crochet. I'm going to work over the red tail now. And in the next one is another UK treble crochet. And then we're going to do a half treble crochet into the next one. And then we're back to our UK double, which is the single. And as you can see, now we're making a circle. We're just going to mirror that again, and I'll stick with you on this one. So we're going to half treble, then 2 trebles. We're just getting a little longer as we go. A double treble into that bottom stitch where we did the slip stitch. And remember, that's not a stitch, it's there. 1 and 2, our half treble. It looks like a stitch, but it's, oh, did I go in the wrong one? I think I possibly did. It was a stitch. See, we all make mistakes. It's because that's not the stitch. This one here, that's not the stitch. That's the bottom of the stitch. So, back in. 1. You can always tell when you get to the top if you're not at the top. And you haven't, you need the top stitch to be your UK double, US single. And if it's not, then you've missed that stitch, which is what I did. So it's a good job that I did it. So you could see that it's easy to do. So we're going down here now. We've got 1 and 2. Our bottom of our, where our slip stitch was. So it's not that little bit, it's this is the top of the stitch. And then the half treble. So it might be a good idea to just write the sequence down, so you know. But once you've done a few, you just remember them. And just mirroring each side. Okay, so we're doing our last one. And then our 2 treble crochets. Oh, I've got a bit of the red there. Kind of split on me. Okay, and now we're going to slip stitch into our first stitch, which is not going to let me get in easy. Not on camera anyway. Doesn't look tight, does it? Must just be the camera in the middle. Okay, so now if I pull that up, we can see we've made a circle out of our flower. And now we're going to make that flower with 5 petals into a square, which was the challenge. You know, make a good hexagon, but we've got to turn that into a square. So, how we do that then? In the stitch we are in, we are now going to make a stack to the height of our double treble. So we're going to go in and pull up our loop, go through 2, in this vertical one here, go through the 2, and then we're going to do it again. So we're up to the height of 3 chains. You can see the chains at the end there. Now I'm going to yarn around 3 times. I know. We're going to go back in, pull up our loop, and go through 2. We'll go through 2. We'll go through 2 and 2 again. And now we're going to just do a double treble in there. We're getting it in the same space. That's the trick. I just want that middle one to be taller. Okay, so in our next stitch, we're going to do 2 UK treble crochets. And again, you'll see there is a repeat. And then we're going to do 1 single UK treble on its own. Okay, now we're going to do a half treble and 3 UK doubles, which are US singles. And now we mirror that. The half treble is next. And then we've got 1 treble on its own. Then we have 2 together. And now we're going to do a full corner, which is our double treble. Double treble. Now we're going to yarn around 3 times, go back in the same space, go through 2, through 2, through 2, and through 2, and we're going to do a double treble in the same space. And in the next stitch, because we're going away from our corner, we're going to put 2 trebles because the stitch before our corner was 2. And then we're going to put the single one on its own. And then the half treble. And you've guessed it, 3 UK double crochets. If you get confused between the stitches at any point, then just make a little jot down that a double crochet is single crochet, that a treble crochet is a double crochet. And then you will kind of hopefully not get confused. So now we've done our 3, we're going to mirror this again. So we're going to do in the next stitch the half treble, the 1 treble in the next, the 2 trebles in the next, and then we're back at the corner, which is double treble, an extra double treble. I have no idea what that's called. A quadruple treble and another double treble. And now we're going away. So we're mirroring what we did. So it's 2 trebles. And then a single 1 on its own. Back to the half treble. And the 3 UK doubles. So we'll stop and have a little look, because here we are turning it into a square, and that middle stitch is the one that is helping that. Still rounded a little bit, but that's fine, it doesn't matter too much. So I'm going to pause this video then, and I want you to just mirror what we did there. So the next one is a half treble, a treble, 2 in there, then the corner, which are all the double trebles, and then we're going to do the 2 trebles, the 1 treble, the half treble, back to the 3 UK doubles, and then before we get to our corner, we'll be mimicking this part here now. So when we get closer, it'll be the 1 treble, the 2 trebles, and slip stitch. Okay, so I'm going to pause it then, and I will catch up with you once I get back to these stitches here. Okay, so I've made it around. All that's left is my 2 treble crochets in that one before the corner, and then I need to slip stitch into the top of my very first, which is the stack, to the height of the double treble. So now you can, if you want, go around in this colour. I just did a whole round of UK double crochets, and that is how I ended off, just a round of that. But I chose the contrasting colour. So as I'm going to make that project, we will do that again. Okay, so normally speaking, I would finish at a corner, but for this particular project, I didn't do that. So I'm going to take that one away and switch to my red. If I can get that one back in there. Okay, so I'm just going to join at another corner. So you look for your 3, and you can see your big tallest one in the middle there. I'm just going to join, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with half a corner this particular round. So I'm going to do 2 stitches in there, so 2 in that same space of the UK double crochets. So now I'm going to take my tail and give it a tug, and my end disappears, so you can't see it. I'm just going to do 1 in every stitch until I get to the next corner. Nice and easy all the way around. So you can use any yarn that you want to use, and you can use any hook. to get the effect that you want. I just wanted it to be fairly sturdy. I was in two minds whether to make a market bag of them, or I kind of decided that as I was using red, because you can use any colour, you can use the two-tone black and white, which was the sort of signature of the era and Mary Quant, or she also used lots and lots of bright colours. So now we're at the corner. I'm going to put 3 in there. I dropped the tail, and I'm just going to put 1 in each one along the side. When I get to that end, I will work over the corner, over the tail, I mean. So what I'm going to do then is just 1 in every stitch, 3 in the very middle. The tallest one, you can see it, it's bigger and fatter. You can actually see quite easy where it is. I'm going to go and do 3 in the corners, 1 in each of the sides, and I'll catch up with you once I get back to this point here. Okay, so I'm almost back. I've got my last one, and now I'm back at the corner. I'm going to complete that. I did 2 at the beginning, if you remember. And so I did my extra one, and now I'm going to slip stitch into the middle and cinch that down. I'm going to leave a very long tail because I want that to sew it together. Okay, so let's just take a look. Now we've finished. All we need to do is pull it a little bit into a square because it's just where I've used thicker yarn. But there we go.